This Ask Misty is from a future drag queen who says that her family can't stand the fact that she's gay, but is afraid to think of how they'll react to the drag. They're very religious, and sometimes she just wishes to move far, far, far away. Is your name Misty Eyez? Wow, that's my story. In a nutshell. Straight up. I graduated high school in Kentucky, and as soon as I graduated, I applied for the largest charismatic super Christian university that I could find for two reasons. A, I wanted to be in the ministry, and B, I figured that if God was anywhere, He was at ORU, and He would deliver me and make me straight. Cast out the demons in me that makes me a homosexual. Cast out the demons or whatever that are in me to make me a cocksucker. But obviously, God created me in His image and has a plan for my life, and it's not the plan that I originally thought, but it is indeed a plan. And He didn't make a mistake. He made me with the desires of my heart for a reason. Once I came to that conclusion. But before that, I was very troubled in my life. God, church, family, suicide. It was very, very complicated. And the best part for me in up and moving, because again, my family was in Kentucky. Almost all my family is now back in Alaska, where we were when we were little. But our family's in the ministry, and we moved around for Jesus. But once I graduated, the best part about me moving to ORU not only was discovering that I'm not a freak of nature, and I am on the right path of my life, but also I was no longer the oldest of 7 kids. I was no longer the reliable son that had to take his brothers and sisters to choir practice or swim practice or up the street to bale hay. I was no longer the designated driver to take him everywhere. I was no longer the good Christian boy that everyone looked at. You know, I could go to Oklahoma. Granted, I was seeking a Christian path for my life, but I could go and become whoever I wanted. I was me. I wasn't the oldest. I wasn't the, you know, whatever identity I had in my hometown. And once I had left ORU, a couple of my siblings actually followed me to Tulsa, and ORU, but by that time, I didn't identify as their sibling. I identified as my own person and who and what I wanted to be. And I was able to create myself and not live under their watchful eye and their judgment. And at one time, one of my sisters came to my apartment, and she told me God gave her a vision. And I'm on a teeter-totter. And I'm either going to hell or heaven. And right now I'm straddling that fence. And I need to make up a decision. And I could be gay or straight or Christian or sinner or whatever. And I'm like, you're in my house. Get out. You can't come into my house and tell me this shit. If I come to your house and you tell me this shit, I can have the choice to leave. But you can't come into my house and preach to me that I'm a sinner. You're a sinner too. Do you want me to tell you how you're a sinner and how I think that you're doing things wrong? By pointing out my faults does not make you a perfect person. And huge fights, but the long story short, my family judged me every single day. Not just because I wanted to do drag, but because I was gay. And I was tired of the Christian hypocrisy. I started dating a pastor of a church, and I respected his privacy. I'm like, look, I'm not going to come to your church. I'm not going to call, I didn't go to his house. I didn't want his neighbors to see, gay person trade or whatever. And we dated for a couple months, like 4 or 5 months. And he was amazing. He always brought me presents and things, and it was a great, great relationship. And then one of my best friends found out, because he would go to the bars with me and come to the drag shows and stuff. And one of my best friends found out that he was married to his cousin. And they had 3 kids. And it's funny because one of the times he had a baby seat in his car. And I'm like, why do you have a baby seat? He's like, oh, my sister's visiting, blah, blah, blah. Her kids are here. And so when my friend told me that, oh, you know, he saw the guy I was dating and his wife and 3 kids at their family reunion at a park in Tulsa, I think Broken Arrow. But I was like, are you sure it's not his sister and her kids? And he's like, hello, it's my cousin. So, yeah, that's when I decided I had to get out of the Bible Belt. And I looked in a gay magazine. I don't know if it was Advocate or Genre Out or whatever, and in the back there was a whole bunch of stuff for Fort Lauderdale. And I decided on that day that I wanted to move to Florida. And it took a while to make that plan in motion, but it did, and I did move far, far away from my family. And now almost all my family is in Anchorage, Alaska, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's basically a tic-tac-toe across this nation, farthest points from each other. And there's good and bad. There's good because my family is a very, very outspoken family, and they like to tell you exactly how they feel and what they think. And everyone feels that they're right. I feel I'm right, she feels she's right. There's 7 kids and 2 parents. They all have their own opinions and they all think they're right. And I don't have to listen to their judgment. You know, I don't have, you know, to, you know, if I decide to visit or if they decide to visit, it's a lovely, enjoyable experience because we're not at each other's throats. But I happen to know because my brother came out and lived, you know, near the family for a while, and they constantly were like, don't tell us your boyfriend's name. If you're dating someone, we don't want to know. We don't want to know if you're going to gay bars. We don't want to know anything. They're in complete denial. And I'm like, ooh. So, needless to say, moving away from your family is good in that aspect, that your mom's not always, you know, you should find a nice girl or whatever moms do. But at the same token, especially around the holidays, it's hard. You know, there's 7 kids, and besides me and one of my brothers, they all have children. And some of my nieces and nephews I've never even met. And that's a sad thing. You know, I live down here in sunny Fort Lauderdale, but they don't want to visit Fort Lauderdale because the gay people live here. And I'm in a gay state. And I'm like, hello? Let's go to Orlando and we'll visit the holy town. Meanwhile, there's more gay bars in Orlando than Fort Lauderdale. We'll do Walt Disney World instead. But whatever. Let them think what they want. I guess they don't want to be in my house because there's demons who will jump on them. Who knows what they think? Honestly, I don't really care. But long story short, no, I don't think that you should up and run. If you live in your parents' household, I do think that you should respect them. I do think that you should not shove your gayness down their throat. But that being said, I also think that you should be who you are and don't compromise who you are for them. Meaning, if you're gay, be gay. Don't tell them about it. Meaning, don't come out there every morning with a big rainbow t-shirt on saying, I'm gay and proud. Hi, can you pass me the milk? That's just rude. Your mom loves you. She pays for your rent or whatever. And I don't think that I would shove it down her throat. You know, just be like, hey mom, I'm going out. You don't have to say, hey mom, I'm going to fuck boys tonight. You know. I don't know. But yeah, Misty got up and ran. She got out of Dodge. And I definitely don't think that's something you should do. But it worked for me. But also, I had to just surround myself with my own family because I didn't have real ones. So sometimes those super religious, judgmental family members are good ones. Even though they have a lot of ignorance coming out of their mouth, they still mean it with love. That was an Ask Misty. I hope I answered your question, and I look forward to your next one. Thank you so much.